Good morning, everyone. Did we get a lot of sleep last night? Because I sure didn't, but it's okay. I am living on cloud nine still. It's the day after the Super Bowl, and this is the moment where I sit back and I go, oh my God, I forgot to say this and that about that guy and this guy, and all the people are saying this about what happened last night, and just kind of wrap things up in the day after, and oh boy. Oh, first off, for those of you that missed it, New Dog picked the correct winner of the Super Bowl again. I left it in secret this year because I was so confident in the Eagles winning this game. I wanted to make it look like I thought New Dog picked the Chiefs. All right, I just want to address this in that part, in this part of the video first. I deliberately made the text red. I made it like I don't want to show you what he picked because I don't want you to ruin the Super Bowl. And sure enough, people in the comments were saying like you didn't show that because he picked the Chiefs. Exactly what I wanted you to think. New Dog would never do you wrong, except that one time again. Jimmy G blew the 10-point lead for the 49ers, but we won't talk about that. That's 7 correct Super Bowl picks for New Dog. 7. He's 7-1. That's a better record than Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost 3 times. New Dog lost once. Anyway, and that was some deep dark. That was when the Chiefs were still doing very, very heavy dark magic. They were just like the whole fan base was in the occult. It was bad times. But that got broke last night. So let's talk about last night's Super Bowl. Oh boy, did the Eagles leave absolutely zero doubts as to who was the better team. And going back to something I touched on last night, the whole GOAT conversation, if we can talk a little bit about the Chiefs here. You can't bring that up with Patrick Mahomes anymore. Unless he gets more rings than Tom Brady, you can't bring him up in the GOAT conversation because this is the second time he lost a Super Bowl blowout. Tom Brady would never. Tom Brady had never, has never, will never because he's retired. Like, we're done with the GOAT conversation right now. Sorry, Chiefs fans. Taylor Swift is still the GOAT of repulsive pop stars, okay? You can live with that. Anyway, for those of you that thought the league is rigged, Travis Kelce's going to propose to Taylor after the game, all that stuff. Oh, you're going to convince me the league rigged this shit for the Eagles to win. Oh, man. Oh, this is just, it's so reassuring because I seriously, like, going into what I said in the video last night, that offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown, I was like, if this is the type of calls we're going to see all game, then I'm done. The game is clearly rigged. If I believe the game is clearly rigged, I cannot watch it. I cannot follow. I cannot support it. But my team is getting pennants put up. Where's the pennant? There it is. I'm going to have to get another one. I'm going to get another one to match that now. Shit. Got to go looking for the Super Bowl pennants again. Yeah. Sorry, the league ain't fixed. The league may have been fixed to get the Chiefs there. Okay, I'm with you on that. But if my team's winning in the end, I'm sorry. I can only feel so bad for the Bills and the Texans and anyone else that got screwed over along the way by the Chiefs. Sorry, sucks for you guys. Anyway, as for the doubters of Jalen Hurts, the Nick Wrights, the Chris Sims of the world, what are they possibly going to say for this? Like I deliberately wanted to make this video before they had their say, because I'm not giving what they say the time of day after this. Because no matter what they say, no matter how they try and slant this, no matter how they try to say just, oh, Patrick Mahomes couldn't make up for the deficiencies and that's why the Eagles won. I don't want to hear any of that. And I don't want to repeat any of their lines here, even though I will talk about what some people have been saying as of last night. Because I know it's a narrative that's going to be spit out by the Chris Sims and the Nick Wrights. It's something I just said 2 seconds ago. It's time to forget those guys even exist. It doesn't matter. Chris Sims could come back and say, oh, here's my quarterback rankings for the 2025 season. I think Jalen Hurts is the 3rd best quarterback in the NFC East. Like he'll do that again, just like he did the season before and the season before that. He'll like Chris Sims will never say he's a better quarterback right now than Jaden Daniels. Like, and still, if you want to argue that, hey, I don't care. But it's something like Chris Sims will never say something, will never possibly think something like that. I think Jaden Daniels has tremendous upside, and I think he looked a lot better than Jalen Hurts did this year. But when you win a ring, you can't be about that life anymore. You can't be about that life. Saying how Jalen Hurts, if Saquon doesn't show up, and if the Chiefs shut down Saquon, all the narrative was leading up to the Super Bowl is, you better pray that Saquon shows up in this game, Eagles fans, because they can't win it with the arm of Jalen. Ha 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 ha. How did it work out for you? So, to all the haters, and going back to a little bit something I touched on a little bit earlier, the narrative that I'm hearing now is that Patrick Mahomes could only do so much based on the deficiencies that the Kansas City Chiefs have. That O-line, it's just getting wrecked all night. What do you expect Patrick Mahomes to do? There's only so much he could do. He couldn't get the ball to his receivers, the receivers that were so reliable. I mean, that drop, that D-drop had, which when the Chiefs still had an ounce of chance of getting back in the game, D-hop turns into D-drop. That was on Patrick Mahomes. But anyway, this whole thing, and so many of the announcers, commentators, etc., that aren't understanding how good this Eagles defense was and knew it was this good, like myself coming into this game, they're making the excuse that Patrick Mahomes could only do so much. There were so many deficiencies on this team. So, of course, they ended up losing. Then why did every single one of you guys pick the Chiefs to win? All of a sudden, these deficiencies were that just omnipresent after the loss? No one was talking about that. Everyone was saying how Patrick Mahomes is going to pick apart this young rookie defense, mainly in the secondary with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean that have never been to this level of game before. They're going to pick them apart. He's going to show them what rookies they are. He's going to have time in the pocket because that O-line is actually pretty good in Kansas City. All that was the talk before this game. Then at the end, Patrick Mahomes can only do so much to make up for the shortcomings of this team. What else do you expect Patrick Mahomes to do? He did everything I expected him to do in this game. Again, go back to my Super Bowl prediction. You show me where I said that Patrick Mahomes is going to have a field day throwing the ball down the field. I said this game would be a blowout by halftime. It would be a blowout by end. And that's exactly what happened. All of a sudden, the narrative has to change now. It can't be just, damn, that Philadelphia Eagles defense is that damn good. And damn, Jalen Hurts showed his ass up when Saquon got locked down. That is all that should be said coming out of this game. Vegas had the Chiefs as the favorites. Every pundit had the Chiefs winning this game. You can't double back now and say, Patrick Mahomes can't do everything. He's not Superman. Yes, he was, according to you guys before this game started. So, shh. You either say this Eagles defense is the legit number one in the league and they did what they did all season, or you just don't give them any credit at all. That's what we're getting right now. And that's what makes it even more sweet. Even more sweet. All the hype that got behind this whole narrative of them being the three-peat champions and all that stuff, that made the victory more chef's kiss sweet for the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh my God, if I was Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni right now, I'd be watching all those predictions back and I'd be jerking my dick off till it got raw. They probably are. Hopefully not together because that's kind of creepy. But hey, maybe they like that. Anyway, not my issue what their masturbation habits are. Anyway, so yeah, Zach Bond got an interception. Cooper DeJean, the young buck, one of the young bucks that this experienced veteran quarterback was going to pick apart. He picked him apart all right. He pick sixed him. Thanks, Patrick. Look like Patrick Starr at quarterback. Has anyone made that meme yet? Patrick Starr, quarterback for the Chiefs? Anyway. I just want to see the lights blink a lot there. Anyway. It's crazy that Howie Roseman, if I could talk about one of the terrible choices he made in the offseason, one of the biggest signings was was trying to get an edge rusher to replace Hassan Reddick, and they bring in Bryce Huff from the Jets and send Hassan Reddick to the Jets. How'd that work out for you? Sucks for you, Jets. And Hassan Reddick was completely irrelevant this whole season. It was so irrelevant in the Super Bowl that he was a healthy scratch from the game so they could put Brandon Graham, who just tore his triceps. And yes, it's triceps. I can't stand what people say when you tear one of your triceps, they call it a tricep. Tricep is a word that doesn't exist. The singular of triceps is triceps. Get it? Got it? It's biceps, quadriceps, triceps. All have an S at the end of it, whether it's one or two. You tear both your triceps, you tear one of your triceps. Grammar lesson aside, Brandon Graham got the start. Well, not the start. He was given limited snaps. But he was coming in the game in place of Bryce Huff because Bryce Huff is so irrelevant, so non-sequential to the game that, yeah, we're good. We'll take the guy that tore his triceps 6 weeks ago and put him in this, well, more than 6 weeks. It was 6 games back in the regular season through the playoffs. And then anyways, yeah, he got to play instead of Bryce Huff. That speaks volumes. And boy, that was like, he's on the books for like, what is it, like 14, 15 million this season? Woof. Howie Roseman had such a swing and a miss like that his offseason was still one of the best you've ever seen from a GM in the league, that he made such a terrible swing and the miss, but everything else he did was such a home run that who cares? Bryce Huff, Bryce who cares? Bryce Huff can become a car salesman next season for all we care here in Philadelphia. Anyway, just God damn, what an off season for Howie Roseman. And this team, like, of all the teams that have won 2 Super Bowls, have 2 Super Bowls been more sweet than what the Philadelphia Eagles have done? Like, if Tom Brady wins Super Bowl 52, he gets the three-peat. If Patrick Mahomes wins Super Bowl 58, he gets the three-peat. They stopped 3 three-peats, and they stopped what was the all-time GOAT and what is this current generation's best quarterback. Stopped them both. Embarrassed them. Outdueled Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with a backup quarterback in Nick Foles, and completely grounded the game of Patrick Mahomes last night. It was 24-0 at halftime. Like, what are we talking about here? 33 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes at halftime. Oh, because he couldn't make up for the deficiencies. No, the Eagles defense is just that good. And who else do I want to talk about? Jake Elliott. Like, oh my God. Did that look like the best kicker in the league taking kicks last night? A 50-yarder, a 48, a 43, all his extra points hit. Like, all of a sudden, this guy is on point. He had his best game of the season in the Super Bowl. People were complaining, like, man, they tied him to that big money contract for a kicker. He's got a shot. Contract earned. I don't care. Don't care about any kick he missed up to this point. Contract earned. Now, granted, his points were all moot because they weren't necessary, but man, he showed you that you need me to have ice water in the veins? I got you. He looked every bit as good as he did in Super Bowl 52. I know he missed a kick in Super Bowl 52. It's crazy because there was a stat going into the game that the Eagles won. It was either 5 or 6 playoff games when Jake Elliott misses a field goal. And you know what another crazy stat in the game is? It was, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 of the last 7 losers of the Super Bowl also lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season. No one that lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season went on to win the Super Bowl in the past. It was like 6-7 years, and there was like 5 or 6 teams that happened to, because obviously there's teams that lost in the Super Bowl that didn't play Kirk Cousins. Like Patrick Mahomes didn't play the Falcons this year, so obviously, it's not every single year. But anyways, Eagles broke that. Eagles broke that because obviously, as we remember, week 2, the Eagles lost to the Falcons with Kirk Cousins at quarterback before he ended up getting benched. Nice career ending for you, Kirk. Anyway, flash. What else do we want to talk about? Because I know there's a bunch of points that I forgot to make last night. I didn't want to make that video an hour long because I also wanted to get to bed for a little bit. this offensive line, Brandon Graham getting his second ring. I know I talked about him coming back from the triceps injury. Lane Johnson getting a second ring. That bumps up Lane Johnson in his career status. I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer, a right tackle. Jordan Mailata, actually, I talked to a fan of mine that commented here on last night's video, said how he's the first Australian to ever, and the person, I'm sorry, I forget your name, is a fan of mine from Australia. He was saying he's the first Australian to win the Super Bowl. So props to you, Jordan Mailata. I asked the guys, like, is he in the news a lot? Do they even know who Jordan Mailata is? Because I know football isn't exactly, a national phenomenon around the world like soccer is. And he said, no, he's actually one of the lead stories. And I was like, good. I was like, you know what? They should have a parade for Jordan Mailata in Australia. Why not? Give him the Lombardi Trophy to put in a car next to him and have him go down. I don't know the famous, whatever Broad Street is in Australia, in Sydney. So anyways, good on you, Jordan Mailata. And again, Jordan Mailata is another example of the mastermind that Howie Roseman is. He took a chance on some rugby player. Like, that's what it was seen as when Howie Roseman, like he got some rugby player to play tackle. Like, that's what the Eagles are doing? Okay, I guess that'll work out. Work out it did. Howie Roseman's just got the golden touch. For every Bryce Huff, there's a Jordan Mailata. There's a Saquon Barkley. There's a Quinyon Mitchell. There's a Cooper DeJean. There's just any of many guys you want to name that he gave a chance to here on this team. Just it's surreal. It's surreal seeing this team rebuild itself. New coaching staff, new coordinators from just 6 Super Bowls ago. You're in the Super Bowl again within 5 years and winning a Super Bowl in 7 years. Again. 3 Super Bowls out of the last 7. That puts you, that gets you a little bit more cred than just being a one and done Super Bowl champ. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade on someone like the Seahawks or anything like that won 1 Super Bowl and had a chance to win a second one, fell short. Because winning a Super Bowl and just getting there, like, nothing beats that feeling. I'm sorry, Lions and Texans and Browns fans I wish I could say I feel optimistic for your organizations, but I don't. I wish everyone in the league could feel this except for Cowboys fans. Again, I don't want the current generation that I grew up with ever feeling the Cowboys win. Yeah. Anyway, when Jerry's gone, whatever, have at it. It's surreal because, as you know, I feel happier for a lot of the people that are ride and dying, didn't give up on the team. Like not that I gave up on the team, but I admit I lost confidence in Jalen Hurts. I admit I gave up on Nick Sirianni. I wanted him out of here. I'm one of those guys in Philadelphia that did that. And I feel I don't get the right to celebrate to the level as the fans in this town that didn't give up or doubt those guys. Because like someone like Philly 500, who I've watched his content, he was so short on the criticism of Jalen Hurts, and it used to drive me crazy. I'm just like, man, this guy needs to just put this guy in blast more than he does, and he never does. But you know what? He rode and died with him, and he was right. Guys like him were right. Guys like me that doubted Jalen Hurts were wrong. We're the ones that owe the apology to Nick Sirianni, for even Howie Roseman years ago doubting him, for just any time that we doubted Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry, but man, this shit still is very sweet. Because I still showed up to support this team every single week. I may not be as ride or die as I used to be, but man, that second Super Bowl, when I saw it actually happen last night, it was every bit as sweet. You could say you kind of bandwagoned onto the hype because you were kind of dipping out in the first half of the season. Fine. Color me fair weathered partially this year. Fine, I'll take it. But man, I ain't gonna. It's not like I'm gonna sit here and not enjoy it. No, I know that was a double negative. But anyway, oh boy. So let's see. What can we close with here? Let's see. We already talked about in the previous video. This is the second Super Bowl that Carson Wentz had to sit in the sideline and watch the team win that he wasn't playing. Well, that he wasn't playing on. He was playing for the Eagles, but he was injured when they won Super Bowl 52. The Philadelphia Eagles now have as many playoff wins as now have as many Super Bowl wins. The Philadelphia Eagles have as many Super Bowl wins as Dak Prescott has playoff wins. Anyway, does this count as a potential dynasty if the Eagles win another Super Bowl? Because, the dynasty thing is 3 Super Bowls because, you have a Lane Johnson, you have a Jake Elliott, a Brandon Graham. Guys that were on the team for the last Super Bowl win are still here. Say they win another Super Bowl next year. Does it count as a dynasty? I don't know. Well, it's a different quarterback. I know people are like, well, it's a different quarterback, different coach and all that stuff, but whatever. I don't know. I say 3 Super Bowls in 8 seasons. That's pretty dynasty-like because that's almost half the Super Bowls in that amount of time. Anyway. All right. So what else do we want to talk about here to close out? New Dog is the GOAT. Oh, sorry. I lost my footing here on my seat. New Dog is the GOAT. We know that. 7-1. Better record than Tom Brady. And yeah, I think that's everything. That's everything. Zach Bond, re-sign him. Give him every dime that you were going to give to Brandon Graham if he retires, or Bryce Huff if you somehow get him shipped out of town, Howie. And yeah, I guess that's everything, guys. Man, it's time to sit back and watch the parade whenever that happens. There's a snowstorm coming in Tuesday into Wednesday, and there's another one Thursday, so who knows? It might be March before they have this parade. Other than that, go Eagles, suck it Cowboys, and for this football season, that is all.